Welcome to the second episode of Backlot 605. I am your host, Casey, and with me as always, Brian.
How's it going?
It's going fantastic. How are you?
Good.
I realized last week I need to stop saying fantastic so much.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So.
Oh, wait, that's my keyword.
That is yours. T-shirts coming soon. You can find them at backlot605.com.
They are?
Yeah, it's going to say fantastic for mine and then have a picture of me, and yours is going to say absolutely.
We might have to work on that one.
I think it'll be a hot seller, so. Anyway, we got a stacked show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, including the Breaking Bad movie, which Brian's very interested in, I know that. We're also going to be talking about Robert Englund's treatment for A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which, if anyone knows me, Nightmare on Elm Street is my thing. Freddy's my man. I'm a Fredhead for life. Hashtag it.
You're a Fredhead.
Hashtag Fredhead.
What happened to Michael Myers? You were a Halloween guy last week.
I was, but that was last week.
No, that's not how this works.
Okay, so I don't know how it makes sense where Freddy is my favorite horror character, except Michael is like the scariest. Does that make sense? No?
Well, Freddy's not scary.
No, he's not. That's why he's my favorite.
Michael's not scary either, though.
Michael is scary. Come on.
No.
We'll agree to disagree. And we are also going to be talking about the new Disney streaming service. So that'll kind of be the main topic of today's show. As we're recording this, it is Veterans Day today.
Yes, it is.
And we'd like to start off with that. So, Brian, you got something to start us off with?
Absolutely. I just want to get out there and say that, to thank you to all the active and retired veterans. I actually come from a military family. For my house, it was the Air Force, but all major branches, they do their part and they do their thing and everything when it comes to that. I'm so glad that we have them to help keep us protected.
Absolutely. We do want to thank all of our veterans, and if you know a veteran, any of you out there listening, please thank them during this week, and to any of them listening right now, we thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
On that note...
Use your keyword now.
Well, absolutely. But on that note, we'd also want to bring up Douglas Rain, who was the voice
of Hal
in 2001: A Space Odyssey. We do want to give our condolences to his family.
Yep, as he is as of today. We found out today is that when he passed away, and that's a very iconic voice, a very iconic thing when it comes to cinematic.
I believe if you look it up on the greatest villains of all time, he's always in the top 10 at least. So we do want to give our condolences to his family and thank him for his fantastic work in film.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, we will move on to our news for the week. It was a somewhat steady news week, I guess. I don't know. We did have the major story, of course, of the Disney streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
So that one we will talk about later. Just not yet. Can't give away all our secrets in one. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now.
No, it's not a secret when you tell.
But maybe we don't like it, and that's the secret.
Yeah, no.
It's going to be our hot take on it.
Our hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Anyway, so our first piece of news.
So it has come up from AMC that they want to do a Breaking Bad movie. If anybody who has seen the show, I myself who have, and I'm a big fan of the show, it's one of those shows where it actually has a justified, good, solid ending to a show where you don't feel like you've been robbed. Dexter and How I Met Your Mother to give me that.
I will agree with you 100% on the How I Met Your Mother.
That was not how it was supposed to end.
So, no, it's not. The whole telling the story so I can fuck your Aunt Robin. Fuck you guys. Sorry.
I know.
Sorry, before we continue, How I Met Your Mother is one of my favorite comedies of all time until you get to that last season. And
it's not even the last season, it's literally the last episode.
Last 20 minutes of that episode.
Yes.
It's freaking terrible. Ugh, hate it. Hate it. That was my Friends.
Anyway, I digress. For the sake of Breaking Bad, AMC wants to do a follow-up movie to that. Seems that they seem to be into this TV movie binge when it comes to their legacy shows. I'm waiting for them to start saying they're going to bring back John Hamm or something like that and start doing Mad Men or something. Never did watch Mad Men, but, they're doing 3 Rick Grimes movies for The Walking Dead. Now they want to do Breaking Bad, which, first thing someone said is, Walt's dead. Spoiler alert if anybody's never watched the...
Brian, unsubscribe.
But no, it sounds like this is supposed to basically take the continuation of Aaron Paul's character, Jesse Pinkman. Considering how he started in the show and how he ended in the show, to me it's a very good, solid a good place for them to go if they were going to continue this universe, continue this thing. He's a good person to definitely pick that up from.
So what kind of stuff do you want to see from it as a Breaking Bad fan? I never have watched the show.
You should.
No, shame on me.
Yes, very
Throw
much.
all the hate mail towards me, please. I want it. But what do you want to see out of a Breaking Bad movie?
Well, I mean, he is a completely evolved and different person by the end of the show from just the little high school dropout doing crap on the side to how it ends and whatnot. He's a much more mature and thought out character. I just think his character's got more growth. I think there's a lot of that growth we just haven't had an opportunity to see yet.
So it'll be interesting to see what else maybe AMC brings to their, I guess, movie lineup now.
Yeah, that's what it seems
Where's
like.
our comic book men movie? Someone needs to give Kevin Smith a break.
No, actually, at least to spin off there, actually, as you say that here, I actually did come across something here that Jason Mewes has gone on to record to say that it sounds like there's the more than likely that the Jay and Bob Get a Reboot will start production in January.
How did we not have this in our show notes?
I know, right? Now that you...
Good thing we brought it up, though, but yes, I can't wait for Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
And my only fear is that he's going to come to a same crossroads he's been in the past. The article that I read,
where like no one picks up distribution and he can't get it made, pretty much.
Well,
or he has to use not GoFundMe's, but
right.
his own money or
he's found ways.
Yeah.
The article that I was reading, he's talking about Kevin Smith trying to make Clerks 3. Clerks 3 ended up getting stalled because of the gentleman that plays Randall did not want to reprise his role.
Yeah, Brian O'Halloran.
No, that's Dante. The other guy.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately
wasn't both of them for a while kind of
I don't know.
A hiccup? I don't know.
No. Anyway, so Clerks 3 ends up going to the wayside. Mallrats, he's almost completely onto that, and I read that the reason why Mallrats became an issue is because he got everybody on board. The only person I hadn't heard that he had on board from the original cast was Ben Affleck.
He's a little busy, it seems like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's got this Batman movie to work on, this little indie film.
Yeah, just little things, Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Michael Rooker, Shannon Doherty, Jennifer Jason Leigh, obviously him, Mewes, all of them.
Well, pretty much everyone else in that cast besides Ben probably needs work anyway. So.
Maybe. But that it got stalled out because Universal, who is the one who owns Mallrats, did not want to make the sequel, and they did not want to release the rights back to him. So he literally can't make the movie he wants to make, even though he had the financing to do so, because Universal are being little bitches about it.
Bitches at Universal.
Yeah.
But Universal, if you're listening, please send us free movies or something, please. We love Universal.
No, I like Universal. They do make some good, solid movies.
It's just part of that studio system once you run into it.
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
with that being his second film, his first forte into a studio movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Going from Clerks to that, which I love Mallrats. I love all of Kevin Smith movies. Even Zack and Miri Make a Porno. It's a good one.
Oh, come on. To have Kevin Smith and Seth Rogen, Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, great movie. Jason Mewes as a porn star.
Heck yeah.
I mean, he probably is already, so. Anyway, yeah, so I hope that one, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, actually gets made and we get to see it pretty soon. He does have some other stuff, I guess, in the pipeline. Moose Jaws is still on the fritz, I guess.
Well, I gotta say, Moose Jaws is still part of his Great White North trilogy that he still needs to make.
And that's how he was going to connect it to the View Askew universe, is through Moose Jaws, I guess. Because Jay and Silent Bob were supposed to be in it.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get Moose Jaws in Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Who knows? I don't know at this point. But he's also working on, what's the one with Chris Jericho?
Kilroy Was Here.
Yep, with Jericho, I believe, is the villain? I think so.
The Gator Chaser.
So, yeah.
I don't know what that means exactly.
Chris Jericho as a Gator Chaser, I guess. Pretty cool. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But from there, I think we'll jump to the next topic. We got a couple of casting news where people have pulled out of their third movies in the franchise.
Well, I don't necessarily know being pulled out.
Either they pulled out or don't want to do it, whatever it may be. Taron Egerton will not be doing Kingsman 3, I guess.
And that is not because of him. Is that the reason why Taron Egerton is not in the Kingsman 3 is it's going to take place before Eggsy becomes a Kingsman.
Okay, so a prequel to the first one.
Right. So to that point, it makes sense why he wouldn't be in the movie. outside of maybe literally a cameo as him being his gangster-looking self just walking by, maybe.
With Colin Firth watching him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
something
a creep.
The thing is, though, is from what I'm seeing, is that it's going to be like it predate enough that Eggsy won't even be alive yet. That even his mother won't even be alive. Like World War I, World War II.
Oh, so not even Colin Firth.
No, if it was Colin Firth's character,
somebody
had to play a young version of him. So
CGI.
And so that's where it's like I like where they're going with Eggsy, and my thought is that if you're going to make a sequel to The Kingsman based on events in Kingsman: The Golden Circle, you find me a way to get Mark Strong to be in the third one. If you can bring back Colin Firth from the dead from the first one into the second one, there's a bit of more of a jump they got to make for another one here. But Mark Strong needs to come back. He's amazing, and he just needs to be a part of that universe still.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one yet. I know, shame on me. I should see the second one. But Mark Strong is fantastic in the first one. There it is, fantastic.
Oh yeah, his dynamic with him and Halle Berry in Golden Circle, because Halle Berry plays essentially the equivalent of his character for the Americans, for the Statesman. It's great.
Okay, I'm looking forward to watching it. I still need to check it out. But if you're gonna do a third one, it kind of has to take place after this. That's the way, I don't know. In my head, sequels need to work that way.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call it Kingsman 3, it should be.
Well, they haven't really called it Kingsman 3. I mean, they didn't really call it Kingsman 2 either. It's Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
That's true. So I don't know. I have that problem with a lot of movies where they call it the third one and it actually takes place before the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Insidious.
Yeah.
3 and 4 take place before 1 and 2. Anyway, but the other casting news is Common is not going to be in John Wick 3.
Yes, and I'm actually kind of disappointed by that.
I am too. That fight in the second John Wick is one of the greatest fights in any movie ever. Them tumbling down the stairs, going, fighting down there, and then getting into the subway.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Common to me is one of those ones that he's an undervalued individual when it comes to modern cinema. I think he was poorly used in Suicide Squad. I was looking forward to having him in Suicide Squad. You don't remember him in Suicide Squad?
I don't even remember him in Suicide Squad now. Who was he in Suicide? Oh, he was Joker's henchman, wasn't he?
He
or something.
There's a specific character
a scene with the Joker
that he was, but yeah.
Wow, I forgot he was in that movie. Wow.
Another good ensemble cast with him in it is Smoking Aces. He brought a very good dynamic. You know, you do run the risk on how John Wick Chapter 2 plays out that he might not make it. Again, it's Hollywood, so it's like, well, you didn't see him die. You didn't see the body. Yep. You can always bring him back, Colin Firth.
That one you did see the body, though.
No, you just see him off screen, and then you don't see him again.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, I'm disappointed that he's not going to be in Parabellum. I think that it is just going to be a good. John Wick seems to be the next rebirth of Keanu Reeves. It's Bill and Ted, then it's Neo, now it's John Wick. It's just he has his highs, his lows, but man, that man knows how to keep his career going.
When he gets those highs, those are frickin' high movies.
Yeah.
I mean, John Wick is one of the best action movies to come out in the last 20 years, for sure. And John Wick 2 is equally as good, I think.
Oh, yeah.
As far as, I don't know what you think. I am excited for the third one. I've seen one thing about it, besides this common news, is him riding a horse, having a fight. I'm like, I'm in.
It don't matter.
Yeah, that could be the poster, just him riding a horse.
I think based on the previous two, I don't even need a plot. I'm in. You would have to really mess it up for me to not want to see that.
Especially after the ending of that second one.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched that again not too long, maybe 2 months ago. But the ending of that movie, it's so good.
When it's literally when he gives him versus everyone.
Yeah, they give him, a chance to run away, and then you see everyone turn and watch him run. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it makes me so excited for the next one. It also makes me wonder, is Ruby Rose coming back for this one? It'd be nice to see some of the older...
We saw her die.
She didn't die, though.
Yes. You watch her do the whole, head back off to the side.
Oh, whatever. Just because she's busy with Batgirl doesn't mean she can't come back for John Wick 3.
Okay, side note, and I realize it's TV and all. I am all for Ruby Rose as Batwoman. Not Batgirl, Batwoman. There's two different people.
Batwoman. I'm sorry.
Get your comic book people straight. Just saying.
Isn't she playing? Who is she playing?
She's playing Batwoman.
Okay, who's Batwoman?
I have no idea. I didn't read.
Not Barbara Gordon.
No, that's Batgirl.
Oh my God.
All I know is that from the pictures that I have seen, it's going to be hard for me to see her with long red hair. It's always been the short, black or dark brown, whatever. Between her hair having to change and her having to hide all her tattoos, those are two of like the very distinctive things about her.
Are they hiding her tattoos?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know if they are.
Maybe I need to get caught up in Arrow to find out.
Yeah, that's a lot of work though.
Yeah,
because then you got to get caught up on Flash and Supergirl too.
And Legends of Tomorrow. Legends.
And what's the other one? Black Lightning.
Yeah, Black Lightning supposedly is not interconnected.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Welcome, CW.
Yeah. All right. So what else do we got on the news here? I think the next thing we got to talk about is one of my favorite things to talk about, as always, Nightmare on Elm Street. So recently, Robert Englund had an interview. Let me pull it up with who this interview was with. Fangoria, which someone pulled out from an old issue, is that Robert Englund had his own treatment for Nightmare on Elm Street 3, so which would eventually become The Dream Warriors, the best Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
So do you wonder whether or not it was in New Line's best interest that they didn't go with his treatment and they went with Dream Warriors instead?
Well, quickly, his treatment is basically, it would be Freddy going after Tina, who in the first movie is his first victim, who gets dragged up the wall in her bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And her boyfriend Rod watches as she dies. But basically it would be him stalking her younger sister who witnessed this trauma or had this trauma, happen to his sister, which I think is an interesting way to go. They haven't dealt with siblings before in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So that'd be cool. And it would end with this crazy Freddy's Funhouse, as Robert Englund called it. That would be the title of the movie. And I think that would be a lot of fun because I think he knew where the franchise was going at that point. Well, Freddy's Funhouse. Freddy becomes basically a stand-up comedian by the end of the third movie.
Well, the second one is kind of the weaker of some of the ones in the franchise.
It is. It has some good things in it. It has the best male scream queen of all time.
Yeah, but see, that was also one of the things that threw the whole franchise off. It's the only one where the hero is not a woman.
Which I like. I actually like. I've grown to appreciate that. Because it's a different take on Freddy and the Nightmare on Elm Street lore, I guess, if you want to call it that. Because if this was planned, I think it was sort of, under the cover, I guess, that this is kind of a movie about a guy coming out of the closet, which Freddy is that. So which is interesting because the guy that plays the main character in the movie, Mark Patton, the actor, is actually gay in real life. And he was a closeted homosexual at the time. And, he kind of has embraced this movie after that for having those underlying, overtones in the movie where there's a point where Freddy literally comes out of him, like, that's his coming out, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
That makes sense.
You gotta watch I don't know. If y'all haven't...
You're making me having to go rewatch the movie, take it off the shelf, and...
Yeah.
Sit and rewatch it.
Sit and watch it that way as like a way of Freddy being the way of how someone is coming out. So it's an interesting way to watch it. Watch it for that. It's really interesting to watch it that way. But once you get to the third one, this is where Freddy becomes Freddy. One-liners. Welcome to prime time, bitch. It has the best death scenes of any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but I think it would have been interesting to go Robert Englund's route because no one knows the character of Freddy Krueger better than Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk, especially recently with Halloween coming out, of Robert Englund giving Freddy one more try. He was on the Goldbergs for their Halloween special, which I need to watch just because I've never watched the Goldbergs. I don't care. But I need to watch Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger.
You could watch the Goldbergs for the Kevin Smith episodes.
Is there that too? Oh, yeah, he directed a few, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I gotta watch the Goldbergs. I don't know. But he's been talking about doing Freddy one more time, and I think if you do it, you gotta give, him a chance. Yeah. Maybe take one of his stories, see what he's got to say. He's gonna know Freddy better than anyone.
He is Freddy.
He is Freddy. Even Jackie Earle Haley did fine in that reboot.
I don't think
it wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't his fault. I think it was the story.
It was, and quickly to go on that, because I could do a whole episode on Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Nightmare on Elm Street, the whole franchise. But the reboot, I think the biggest problem was they basically did the first movie over again.
Yeah.
It was too much of the same. The stuff that they did different, like where you take like the power naps and all of a sudden, boom, Freddy's there. That was great. I loved that. Turning Freddy into a pedophile, I don't think was the way to go.
That I don't think was necessary.
No, it wasn't. Him being a frickin' child killer is enough.
It did throw me off that they kept the boyfriend alive.
At the end?
Yeah, well, in general, yeah. You know, I did like the fact that they, you know, for the most part, it was a rehash script. It was, you know,
tweaking
the original.
Wes Craven's original script. Yeah.
You know, at least, you know, they did try to at least put a little bit of a spin, a little bit of a, oh, you're going to expect this. When you start to see those underlying tones of, oh, this is the same movie. Oh, wait, nope, boyfriend's still alive. Or, nope, this is happening.
Yeah, and not have any of the same named characters, which I think is sort of the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, that one was definitely not Jackie Earle Haley's fault.
No, he's great.
But the problem is when you have the difference between him and Michael Myers and Jason and Leatherface. Freddy doesn't wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the personality. Leatherface has personality. Michael and Jason don't. They're just guys that big, tall, brawny guys that kill teenagers.
Yep.
So you can cast any stunt guy as that. But the thing with Freddy is his personality, his one-liners, throwing out one-liners like he's freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is he going to get to the chopper?
Get to the chopper now! I think that's the way you got to go. You got to bring Freddy back in full force. I want to tease something really quick. We do have a show we're going to try to work on in the future where we pitch movie sequels or spin-offs or whatever it may be. I might have something for Robert Englund's return.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe a little tease we'll leave for our audience with that. So, yeah, that was fun news to hear. I've never heard that before. I've read up a lot about Nightmare on Elm Street and its backstory and seen a bunch of documentaries on it. So it's cool to see Robert Englund putting his 2 cents in what he thinks the third movie should have been back then. So that's pretty cool.
So, yes, the next thing that they gave the official announcement for the name of the new Disney streaming service. It's now Disney Plus. Supposed to be slated for 2019. I think it's early 2019. There's already been stuff that we already know that's going to be happening and going on. Like, we already knew about Jon Favreau's doing The Mandalorian for the Boba Fett stuff.
No, not Boba Fett.
No?
Just a Mandalorian story.
Mm.
From what I understand, which I'm very interested in.
Because the first and only image I have seen that's
not Boba Fett.
But, well, sorry, of the bounty hunters, excuse me. That's where my brain's going with it, is the bounty hunters.
Yeah. The Mandalorians is one of the coolest stories in all of Star Wars. Like, to dive into that.
Are you really trying to sell me even more that I want already?
Yeah, because it's some of the best. Have you ever watched Clone Wars?
No.
Okay, some of the best stuff they have in that is with Mandalorians, Boba Fett and Jango Fett. So you have their story, which are the two big Mandalorian characters because they're in the movies. But then you have just the Mandalorian story, which is fascinating. They go into big territory with Obi-Wan. Maybe just check out those episodes. They're really interesting. The whole Mandalorian lore is very, very cool to look into, and some of their older stuff that they've had. In the old canon, I guess it is now, their wars with the old Jedi Order and then the old Sith Order, and there was hundreds of each. Is some of the best Star Wars stuff you could ever, dream to see on the big screen. So it'd be interesting to see a Mandalorian story actually up on the big screen since what's that? I guess I
guess it depends on how big your TV is.
In live action, that's what I meant by it. Sorry. Since Boba Fett is, I think, pretty much dead, and Jango Fett obviously got his head cut off.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's slightly decapitated.
Just slightly. But then the story with Boba Fett after that is freaking awesome.
Well, see, we have to also look and see how are they going to change things up, since everything that is
old canon is pick and choose what works and what doesn't.
Well, they fell out said all the written books, all that stuff that is no longer canon. That's been retconned. So.
Which from that they've picked and choose what they want to use.
Yeah,
they're like, no, Thrawn, we're going to throw into between episode 3 and 4 instead of after episode 6.
Well, at least if they're picking and choosing, one thing I do slightly appreciate is that they picked to put George Lucas's ideas in the trash when they decided to come up with the Episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, boo. Boo.
Oh, come on. Because the prequels were the good ones. No.
I enjoy the prequels for what they are. They're Star Wars movies.
Do you know?
I look at Star Wars movies in a different light than any other movie, so.
Well, yeah, especially when, it's the Phantom Menace is what makes you want to go see movies.
The Phantom Menace.
We got to work on your quality of films there.
Hey, it's grown since then.
But, there's questions on how to watch the Star Wars movies. And in what order do you watch them? There is a particular order of the Star Wars movies. I have to forget what they call that per se. My friend Tim would probably beat me upside the head if I did not know this. He's a huge Star Wars nerd. This particular order of which does not include Episode 1 because it's basically been banished. Because it has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of it.
So, on that note, I think is it probably you watch New Hope, Empire, jump back to Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, then go to Jedi?
Let me see here.
Well, I guess then Rogue One and then Jedi, I guess. Rogue One is kind of what throws everything off right now, and also with Han Solo, because they take place between episodes 3 and 4. If you're going to skip anyone, why would you skip episode 1? Episode 2 is the worst one.
But at least that one actually has Anakin as an adult.
True. This is where they should have started the story. I will always agree with that. That's where you should have started it with that movie and worked forward. But, yeah, I'm excited for this. Also announced within that Star Wars Disney Plus service is the Cassian Andor series.
Yep.
Prequel to Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
With Diego Luna returning as Cassian Andor. So, as much as I give a lot of crap to Rogue One sometimes, I can kind of be interested in this because it's going to be before the rebellion, I'm assuming. Or how he gets started with the rebellion.
Or at least how he's getting into the rebellion.
Yeah, I want to get into that stuff. If you're going to stay within this 60-year timeline, which I don't like, Star Wars is millions of years both ways from this series of movies. If you're going to stick in there, I'd like to see it where the Empire's just taken over. There's no hope out there. It's just scum and villainy out there. Jabba the Hutts and bounty hunters running about. They're running the place. I want to see that kind of stuff.
You want to see the evil win.
Just for that time, because you obviously, they lose because Luke shows up. But just to see what it was like how shitty it was before Obi-Wan and Luke finally get together.
You just want to see how bad it's going to get.
Yeah, I want to see the bad that happens before the good. Because you hear Luke talk about it and you hear Obi-Wan talk about it. You never really get to see it.
Maybe this is what we'll get.
Yeah, I think Rogue One didn't give us enough of it. It gave us hints of it here and there. Especially with a fantastic shot of the Imperial Starfighter over that city.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great shot. I love that shot. But I want more of that. So I hope that's what that series is going to give us. Also, I've been hearing we might see a certain Jabba the Hutt in the movie, or in the series.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Diego Luna says the one character he wants to be, either in a movie or TV, whatever it may be, just be on screen with, is Jabba the Hutt.
Hopefully it looks better than what he did in the prequels.
Yeah, you have to do practical effects.
He did look a little rough in the prequels.
Oh. As long as we get Bib Fortuna, too. Bib Fortuna for president.
That little crazy looking thing?
No, Bib Fortuna's the Twi'lek that has the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the bad teeth.
Yeah. Bib Fortuna's awesome.
The other thing that they also announced, they actually announced a couple of different things here, is that on top of that, because they don't, of course they want to try to be able to push people to this new streaming service, and how better to do that than to create a series around Loki of the MCU, starring the Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
I can say comfortably in my own skin here, that is one attractive man.
Absolutely. That's why I whistled like that. One of my favorite endings of probably one of the worst, if not the worst, MCU movies, Thor: The Dark World, is that shot at the end with him sitting on the throne.
Yep.
one of only 2 times in the theater where I stood up and clapped. Because I love that ending so much.
And I do honestly think that one of the reasons why Marvel has utilized him as much as they have is I think occasionally you come with the villain, and to realize that he's a fan favorite. Everybody loves Tom Hiddleston. Everybody loves Loki. They've done a great job in his character arc to have an expansion on his story and everything like that. My only question is, where is this all going to fall within the MCU? Since we don't know how Avengers 4 is going to turn out. But currently, as of Infinity War, if you haven't watched it yet, that's your own damn fault.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. He's dead. And not by any magical dust.
No, and Thanos pretty much confirms it with his line that no resurrections this time.
Exactly. Then at that point, it's either something magical is going to happen in Avengers 4, or it's going to have to take place sometime, obviously, before the Infinity War. But regardless, it's Tom Hiddleston, it's Loki, it's the MCU. I'm in.
I'm into it too. I can dig it. I hope. What if we have it where it takes place between Thor 2 and Thor Ragnarok? Where it's about him, how he controls Asgard. Probably, 8 episode series? Does it say how long?
Limited series.
Limited series. So 8 to 10 episodes, probably.
Yeah.
I think that could pull it off right there, that storyline.
Yeah, they could certainly do that, especially, depending on how long. He goes from sitting there doing nothing for first to having plays made about him starring Sam Neill and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. But I think that would be a good place to put it.
I'm going to have to go with the side note of the fact that Matt Damon seems like the guy right now that nobody wants to cast in a superhero movie. So he's going to find a way to cameo himself in between Deadpool 2 and Thor Ragnarok.
The new king of cameos right there.
One of the things that it did comment when I was reading about the Disney service is that right now Netflix has got the bag when it comes to when the movies get past home distribution. So theater, DVD, Blu-ray, and then where does it go after that? Your HBOs, your Showtime, Cinemax, your Stars, Netflix, Hulu, all those things. Netflix is the one that owns the bag for the Marvel stuff. So you see Marvel, Disney movies, all that stuff on Netflix before you get to see it on anywhere else. Well, Captain Marvel will be the first, I wouldn't call her a casualty, but that will be the first movie that won't go directly to Netflix. It's going to go straight to the Disney streaming service first. If you plan on wanting to watch Captain Marvel after theaters, after Blu-ray, finally, you're going to have to suck it up and get the Disney streaming service until it finally hits TNT, where you get all the wonderful commercials and bad edits. I did see that they were also working on Monsters Inc. stuff, which I'm interested in. I've always enjoyed the Monsters Inc. Pixar movies. I enjoy the Pixar movies in general. And on that note, actually, just this last week, Christopher Robin and The Incredibles 2 both came out last Tuesday. Still need to get back in to watch Christopher Robin. I think Ewan McGregor as an adult Christopher Robin is very entertaining. And I am looking forward to getting that one watched.
I love me some Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor? Heck yeah.
Also on this Disney streaming service has been announced the Scarlet Witch series.
Yep.
So that'll be, I think they've announced Vision is going to be in it too.
All I know, all last I heard is that they're at least
trying to.
Or at least also trying to get Elizabeth Olsen, because at least with the Tom Hiddleston Loki, that's been confirmed.
Yeah.
They haven't confirmed a whole lot with Scarlet Witch yet.
Yeah, I think it's in the same boat as the Falcon Winter Soldier short series that they're working on too, which I think you can find a way to work it out. Throw that Disney money to them.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Which I'm fine, because normally when you think of movies going down to, I don't want to say down to television, but you know what I mean. There's a different budget between the two.
Well,
but when you throw that Disney money out there, they're going to bring their A game with these.
Well, and television is different now than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, because you're way back in the day, you're talking like your HBOs, your Cinemax, Showtime, before Stars, before the streaming services, before, companies like Netflix, who are meant to be in-home, is dropping $8 billion on their content. It's not about the small screen anymore. It's a matter of getting that content in front of the people and figuring out how you're going to do it. You figure all these different companies are coming out with all these different separate streaming services, AMC Plus and
the DC.
The DC, yeah, the brand new DC one that's coming out here,
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost turning into how do I get my content a la carte?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that company to come up and say, okay, instead of you putting your credit card in 15 different websites so you can get what you want, pay us and we'll get you all the stuff. That's what I'm
waiting for.
I'm waiting for a Movies Anywhere for these streaming services.
Okay. But I don't know. I unfortunately think this is the way streaming services are going.
Oh yeah.
Because that's your money.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you start a Disney streaming service, they're paying that's straight to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's not the middleman with Netflix or Hulu, which sucks. But Netflix has become its own thing now, which I'm grateful for because you get fantastic television and movies on Netflix that are only available there now.
Stranger Things
is probably the biggest example, but there's so much great stuff on Netflix. All the Marvel stuff, that's another thing that I want to bring up. What happens to Daredevil, Luke Cage, the Defenders?
Well, that's easy. Half of them are already gone. Iron Fist and Luke Cage have been canceled.
Which is true.
Jessica Jones and Daredevil, the only two that are not on the current docket. Daredevil season 3 just released, so maybe that's why they're holding off. I don't know.
Maybe they'll just do a Defenders season 2, and that'll be kind of their series finale for all of them.
Well, when Iron Fist first got canceled, the rumors and people speculating and hoping and thinking that instead of Luke Cage season 3, it would be Heroes for Hire, and bringing those two back together because they have a great dynamic together.
Which is always the way I always saw those two. I haven't watched either Luke Cage or Iron Fist. I'm so behind on those Netflix series right now, unfortunately. But that's always the way I've read a few stories with them in it, and it was always Luke Cage and Iron Fist together. It was Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah, they have a very good dynamic for the way that their powers are set up. So that's what I was hoping for. And then they said that they were canceling Luke Cage. I'm like, okay, come on. You got to work with me here. Where are we going with this? Granted, all of the internet memes for this were absolutely amazing because as soon as
the Thanos snap.
Yep, Thanos snap took care of half the Netflix MCU.
Hey, it makes sense.
So
if that's how you want to continue on with the series.
Yeah, and they haven't given any specific reason as to why that they've been canceled and whatnot. I'm hoping that
because no one likes Iron Fist.
Iron Fist season 2 did rate better than the first season. Granted, it was still lower than any of the other Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil. But it did rate better, but I'm hoping that maybe it just means that they're working on trying to get them all merged over into the Disney service, maybe?
Maybe they just do straight up just a Defenders movie on the Disney streaming service.
Yeah, it could be.
Which I'd be fine with. Maybe you got to throw in, some of those other characters. People want to see more Daredevil, especially after this third season, which I hear is fantastic.
Charlie Cox is an amazing Daredevil.
And then you have...
He blows Ben Affleck out of the water.
No shit. Well, then you have Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. What do you do with him? Probably, I don't know, top 3 greatest Marvel villains in the MCU. If you want to add these into it.
It's
in the same universe.
No, he was absolutely built for Kingpin. He was an absolutely magnificent. Vincent D'Onofrio is...
He needs to get into a movie.
Yeah.
He needs to be in a Spider-Man. I will give Disney all my money that I ever make if they put Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin into a scene together. That's it right there.
That would be very great.
Because Kingpin was... When I watched... The way I got into Spider-Man was through the animated series in the 90s. And Kingpin was the main villain. That was the big guy. So if you put him in there with his white suit, I'm done. Take my money.
He's a much better Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio is a much better Kingpin. And it saddens me to say this because he was a wonderful actor when he was still alive. But Michael Clarke Duncan as the Kingpin.
He worked for that movie.
Yeah, but it was still bad. Was Ben Affleck was he a great Daredevil? Not great. But that story kind of was horrible.
Yeah.
There's too much going on. I always tell anybody, if you're going to sit down and you're going to watch Daredevil, let me preface that, if you're going to sit down and watch the Ben Affleck Daredevil, make sure you get the re-release director's cut rated R version where it's darker. They cut a lot of the Elektra love story out of it.
Oh, shoot.
And
do they include the playground fight in that one?
Yeah, the fight's still there.
Ugh, gross.
But it's about the fight stuff, you know. There's things about it like you could tell that Colin Farrell was just doing it for the paycheck.
Oh, he's awesome in that movie.
He phoned it in.
No, he is eating up that scenery in that movie.
Oh, he's one of the good parts.
He's just chomping it away.
He's a good part of that movie, but he's still phoning it in. You want to talk about one where he's a good, solid part of the ensemble? Horrible Bosses.
Okay, he is great in that too. But in Daredevil as Bullseye, he delivers one of my favorite lines ever. Is when he's sitting on the airplane and this old lady keeps talking to him, and he flicks that peanut, and it bounces off the seat in front of him and goes into the old lady's mouth, and she chokes and dies.
Mm-hmm.
And the stewardess comes up and she's like, "Anything else for you, sir?" "More peanuts." I just love that line. It's so dark in its comical way. I love it.
I don't know. Well, I guess
that was our talk on Ben Affleck's Daredevil. But no, so while we're continuing to talk about this Disney Plus service, since they do own everything.
Oh, pretty close.
Pretty close. What Marvel series would you want to see them do?
Well, I'm thinking that just for the sake of argument, with all this that's been going on with the Fox merger, it might be a good time for them to delve into the X-Men universe.
Have that be the segue into it?
A little bit, yeah. They're a little across the border right now between The Gifted and Legion and the...
Is Gifted even still on?
I'd have to
or
look.
Legion? I don't think either one's on in the air anymore.
But, I mean, you know, they're all over the place, and I think that they just need to get refocused. I don't mind the First Class. There's things about the First Class ones that I like. Apocalypse was ill-wasted talent.
Apocalypse pulled an X-Men 3.
Exactly.
I'll say this about both X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men 3 Last Stand. They're not terrible movies. Very misguided.
Very misguided.
Not terrible movies.
No, because one of the things I would certainly say is that when I heard that Oscar Isaacs was going to be in Apocalypse, super excited, super talented. You know, he's one of those younger actors I think is going to have a career for decades. Total misuse of his talent.
Yep.
Maybe if they could figure out a way to hold of X-Men and kind of reel it in and dial it in, and you know, there's so much potential there. You know, so many ways they can go.
Man, I gotta say right now, the series I want to see, Ghost Rider.
Again, another one that needs to get dialed back in because
have you watched him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, but
it's the best stuff Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has ever done. The 5-6 episodes that he's in.
Well, of course, because it's ABC. It's part of the Mouse House.
Yeah, but first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is garbage.
Well, because here's my spin on it. When I heard that Nick Cage, the almighty
Nicolas Cage, is Ghost Rider. Is that alright? No?
Oh my god, man.
Never do it again?
Never do that again.
Okay. I'll just stick to Arnold.
I don't know if you should do that again. I don't know what I just experienced, but I think it was like an out-of-body experience.
It was a face-off.
It was something. For the sake of Nick Cage and Ghost Rider, when I heard that Nick Cage was going to be making Ghost Rider, I was looking forward to it. First one's not great. It's not horrible. It's not one of the worst movies that were out there, but it's not exactly up there in top-tier Marvel movies.
It's pretty on par with, like, Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Exactly. And to think, this is a man who grew up around the movie family. He's a Coppola. If anybody doesn't know that Francis Ford Coppola, Sofia Coppola, they're all related.
Nick Cage is that part of that family.
Nick Cage is that part of that family. Nick Cage is a stage name he created because he didn't want to take Coppola and have that be his sake into the industry.
You gotta give him props for.
Yeah.
But he also named himself after Luke Cage. That's how he got his last name.
He's named after Luke Cage, exactly. He names his kid Kal-El
after
Superman. And so, you know, you realize he is this comic book nerd. And then Ghost Rider comes out and you're like, it took you 10 years. And this is what we have to experience. So maybe that's also, I would be totally 10 for it. Let them bring that property in since that's a Fox property. and let them try to dial that one in and try to bring that back in and give us a good, solid, outstanding Ghost Rider.
I definitely think that's the way they should go. Bring in the Ghost Rider that they have from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, but then what's the name? What's Nick Cage's Ghost Rider?
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
How do you forget a name like Blaze when the dude is on fire?
Fucking Ghost Rider. Ugh. I feel like an idiot. But yeah, I think that's the way they should go with that series. Another thing quickly that I believe we're both looking off the Collider press release on this. Is that what you're looking off of? No. At least that's where I was looking off of.
I actually, from the Collider press release, I actually pulled the actual Disney press release.
Okay. But what I saw is that really piqued my interest. I don't know if this will pique anyone else's in the world. Is that they're thinking of doing a Mighty Ducks prequel or reboot or sequel. I'm in.
Well, we know one thing's for certain. They're not going to be able to get the guy that was the goalie. He's too busy being in jail right now.
He's too busy being a meth head.
Yeah, he's too busy being up on drugs.
God, if you haven't seen it and you are a 90s kid,
just Google him.
Google Goldberg Mighty Ducks present day.
Yes.
Oh,
he literally looks like almost half the man he was.
Poor Sean Weiss.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him back. You need to get back, sir.
Now, considering some of the cast from way back then and whatnot, do we bring back Emilio Estevez?
Yes, you bring back Emilio Estevez.
Do we bring back Joshua Jackson?
Yes. You bring him back. You bring back Keenan.
Heck yeah.
Thompson. You bring him back. All. The Bash Brothers. You bring back everyone, dude. I love Mighty Ducks. I grew up on Mighty Ducks. And then the weird animated series that they had on the Disney Channel or whatever it was with the animated ducks fighting crime was really weird.
That does sound weird.
It is weird. It's awesome, but it's really weird because it has nothing to do with teenagers playing hockey.
Maybe we have a Joshua Jackson in a Emilio Estevez type of role.
That's exactly where I was going. And I'm like, he needs to coach the Pee Wee hockey team. That's it. That's the story. Like, that writes itself, and then he can't figure out how to do it. He's losing these kids. Who does he go to? Coach Bombay.
Heck yeah.
And they team up at the end. Oh, I'm in. Disney, please make this happen. You will make me feel like a 5-year-old child again if you do that. I don't care. I guess you can bring back whoever else from the cast wants to. Probably not Sean Weiss.
Keenan might be a little bit difficult, though.
You just do it on the off season of SNL.
Well, see, that's just it, though. The Mouse House, ABC, along with hopefully he's got a very good working relationship with NBC.
Well, as being the longest running cast member.
Yep, 13 years?
Something like that. Freaking went straight from all that to this.
Hey, you know what?
Stick with sketch comedy. It's what you know best, I guess.
And he's good at it. There's no doubt about that.
You got to give Keenan props for that. But yeah, I want that so bad. But yeah, I think that's the movie right there. Joshua Jackson as Charlie Conway is the new coach. Maybe he gets into legal trouble just like Emilio Estevez did in the first one. Who knows? And he has to coach a Pee Wee hockey team. You pull a Boy Meets World, Girl Meets World type of thing. Where you bring back the older cast. They're kind of the mentors to your new cast, and that's where you go.
Also, I'm just picturing the Ben Savage showing up for some stupid reason.
I'd be fine with Ben Savage showing up, I guess. I don't know. He could have showed up in Girls Meets World, except he's a creep in Boy Meets World.
Ben Savage? He was the father.
Fred Savage. Sorry, he's in Boy Meets World too for a few episodes. He tries to hit on Topanga.
So if we're gonna go into the Savages for a hot minute, here,
let's get savage.
Well, my God, you're full of bad puns today. Jesus.
No. We're gonna hashtag that. Let's get savage.
Get savage.
Yeah, that's gonna be on the Deadpool 2 poster.
Well, that's actually what I wanted to reference for this holiday season. Is going to bring back Deadpool 2 back to theaters for a PG-13 version. They've released a movie poster with Deadpool on his unicorn with Fred Savage.
As Fred
Savage, and it is titled Once Upon a Time, or Once Upon a Deadpool. I am totally in.
When I first heard about this, I was out. PG-13 Deadpool movie, okay. Like, I get it maybe for the Celine Dion getting Academy Award for Best Original Song or something like that.
She should get an award for that song, period.
She should.
I don't care if it's rated R.
It is. It's a great song for the movie. But when I heard about you were the one that actually told me about the Fred Savage is coming on to play Fred Savage, except it's going to be like the Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I got it. That's it.
Yeah.
Take my money.
I'm curious how they're cutting it per se, because it's being told that it's about 3 minutes shorter than the original Deadpool 2, but it has 15 minutes of new footage, which when that was announced, it was that was announced saying it was also a new character, and that was before they were really kind of hinting at the Fred Savage thing. So I assumed the 15 minutes is the Princess Bride-ish
stuff with Fred
stuff
Savage.
with Fred Savage. They're obviously they're not doing it for the money, because Deadpool raked in a crap ton of cash. I just think that they're just like, you know what, we're gonna do it because we want to do it. I think it sounds like fun. I think the fact that they are going the Princess Bride route is great. To have Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, be the Peter Falk grandfather role, telling the story
to an adult Fred
Savage who's being held hostage.
How does it get any more Deadpool than that?
Yeah, how much more of a fourth wall do you have to break?
Anything with the Fox X-Men universe, I'm kind of out of right now. If that makes, I don't care about Dark Phoenix anymore. X-Men Apocalypse kind of put a sour taste in my mouth.
I'm still curious about New Mutants.
New Mutants, I was, until they kept moving it back and back and back. Like that's, I don't know. You should have probably just struck while the iron was hot. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
When there was hype on it, but I'm still interested somewhat in that. I like the cast. I like that it's supposed to be a horror movie with X-Men characters. But Deadpool is that universe right now.
Oh yeah, Deadpool owns it.
You gotta put all your marbles with him. So get on that Deadpool 3, get on that X-Force. Throw him in some Marvel movie once they get the rights back and make it happen.
They got to be careful with Deadpool. You got to be careful with the fourth wall. Deadpool he's a unique, and it would be very hard to put him with the MCU. You couldn't put him in Captain America movie. It might be hilarious as hell if they would purposely bleep him out, and he would purposely acknowledge that he's getting bleeped out.
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, if they're gonna do it and make it PG-13, he still needs to swear, except they just bleep it out and he calls it out.
Yeah, but then he's breaking the wall, and then
But he has to do that in a Deadpool movie. I don't want him to do it in a
bring
Avengers.
So bring Chris Evans into a Deadpool movie.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Which they originally were planning to do, where it was supposed to be like the twist of you think he's being Captain America, but he's actually the Human Torch. Oh, I love it. But yeah, any final thoughts on the Disney streaming service?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think that they have a good stance about them, They're all encompassing, as opposed to just trying to be like, here is the Marvel service, or here is the Star Wars, or they're not trying to break it down. They're just basically saying, here's all of the service. And so as long as it's reasonably priced.
That's another thing I'm wondering about. What the price will be, but I think I'll pay if it's anything less than $20.
Oh, it'll easily be. Most of these, it seems like it's been around. Some of these smaller, like the FX Plus or the AMC Plus and stuff like that. It's just, I think it's like what, $8-10, something like that. I'm picturing them probably going around like 15. I'm thinking like $15 because they're probably gonna try to be on par with the Netflix pricing, the Hulu pricing. I don't know if they seem like the type that they would do ads, so I don't know if they would have a tiered system. Maybe I'd say probably 10 to 15. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would pay. I'm paying it. It's the one streaming service I'll get from a studio.
Yeah,
I won't get the DC one. I can take or leave, stuff like that.
The one thing I will give,
I'll be signing up first day.
The one thing I will give DC, and I don't know if this is a long-term plan, but for the pre-sales that they were doing, it was either $7.99 a month or $75 for the year, which comes out obviously a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's if you're willing to drop the cash, for the 1 year plan, it kind of comes out. Titans does look entertaining.
Fuck Batman.
Yes. So.
All right. With that being said. We got our coming soon to theaters.
You're just going all over after Ben Affleck tonight between Daredevil and Batman,
and they're not specifying that back. Yeah. Batman, I guess. You just said fuck Batman because obviously Robin says that all the time.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so coming soon this week, we do have some new releases coming out this week. We have first Fantastic Beast and the Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes.
Now, for me, I've I've seen the first Harry Potter movie a long time ago. Don't remember anything about it.
See, and I think right now, unfortunately, so I have to finish Fantastic Beasts. That's my bad. To me, it looks good. It looks like there's going to be a lot more continuity to the Harry Potter side of things in terms of, they're definitely shown in the previews Nagini, which was Voldemort's snake and whatnot. I'm intrigued. I like Jude Law. Johnny Depp looks weird as hell as Grindelwald, and I know that there's been all the controversy and all the crap behind him and all that stuff.
Johnny Depp's a douche.
He's a method actor.
Yeah, fuck that. Don't be a dick to women.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing. I don't even know how to respond to that.
You say I agree.
Well, no, yeah, you don't want to be a dick to women, but Amber Heard seems like she's a little got a couple loose screws too.
Yeah, but it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
he has more than a few loose. Anyway, I think we should move on from that.
Yes, and then Widows comes out up here as well.
Widows is basically about a group of husbands that are basically part of this crime syndicate, and they get killed. And now this other group is coming after the wives to get their money. They want their money back. You know what? These ladies are gonna fight back.
Well, I suppose
I'm in. I like it. Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out is the villain. I am into that 100%. It does have a very, very good cast, including Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, Liam Neeson, John Bernthal,
Colin Farrell.
But the list goes on.
I'll say this much though about Daniel. I absolutely love Get Out. Get Out was amazing. Jordan Peele did an amazing job with that movie, which I immediately went, the guy that's known for comedy is making a horror thriller type style movie. But Daniel was absolutely great in that. He was one of the pieces of Black Panther I absolutely hated.
Oh, he was bad.
His performance was so wooden and so one-dimensional. Everything else about that movie was absolutely beautiful, amazing. Like any movie, it's going to have, its qualms here and there and whatnot. Black Panther had a little bit of an issue with, being able to figure out exactly what was going to happen, when it was going to happen. I didn't buy that, he and...
would turn like that on...
Oh, no. Totally saw that coming.
Oh.
Totally saw it coming. His character was completely one-dimensional. He did not give it the full, what I hoped he would. I was so looking forward to him in that. Between, like I said, he's absolutely fantastic in Get Out. His episode of Black Mirror is wonderful. And then you get into Black Panther, and I'm like, what happened? What literally just happened? Hopefully, maybe this will be his redeeming.
No, it'll be good to see him as a villain. We haven't seen him as a villain before.
Wait, kind
yeah, then he turned back. Yeah, whatever. But he was bad in that movie. Yeah. He looks really good in this movie. Directed by Steve McQueen. Also, screenplay. This is kind of what will kind of get me into it. Gillian Flynn, Gone Girl.
Okay.
And then Steve McQueen also has writing credit on it. I don't know. It looks really interesting. If you haven't seen the trailer, definitely check it out. This might be the one I might go check out this weekend. So it looks really good, and yeah, I can't wait to see it.
I still want to see Crimes of Grindelwald.
So maybe next week we'll have 2 takes.
Maybe.
Of different movies. That'd be pretty cool.
And then the other movie we got coming out, which from watching the previews, I'm intrigued. It's the heartfelt comedy. Rose Byrne, Mark Wahlberg playing foster parents that adopt 3 kids. Looks funny, looks entertaining. To me, it might be the kind of movie I'd wait for home video or something like that to watch and whatnot. Probably not something I would jump for the theater for, but it generally does look good. Maybe it's the family person kind of, mentality that makes you look and go, can you get behind that one?
It kind of reminds me of Daddy's Home, that kind of quote-unquote family movie. You know what I mean?
But he's playing more of the Will Ferrell character than he is playing the bad boy?
Yeah. Exactly. I just looked up the director for this movie. It's the director of Daddy's Home.
Well, which makes sense.
It does. And
Mark Wahlberg definitely likes to
stick with his directors.
Yeah.
Which I give him props for. I do like Mark Wahlberg. I do like Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne is really funny, especially in the Neighbors movies.
Yes.
She's great in those. Mark Wahlberg is really funny, too, if you give him the right kind of character to play.
Ted.
The other guys.
The other guys is great.
He is the best part of the other guys, besides Sam Jackson and The Rock, which talks about last week.
Sam Jackson and The Rock, right?
Always.
Yeah, the other guys.
I'm a peacock, Captain. You gotta let me fly.
The other guys is one of those ones where it's like, I'm not a... Will Ferrell is one of those ones where I have to pick and choose because there's a lot of times I don't think he's funny at all.
I don't think he's funny in the other guys.
He's redeeming in that movie comparative to if you were going to be watching Semi-Pro, Blades of Glory. Let's get to Talladega Nights.
Hey, Talladega Nights is awesome.
See, no interest.
Do you like Step Brothers?
Never watched it. Don't care.
Oh, you have him and John C. Reilly. That's what makes Talladega Nights so good, and what makes Step Brothers so good is the dynamic between the two. Everything else is pretty much take or leave.
See, and I think this might go back to that whole conversation you and I had about Dumb and Dumber. John C. Reilly is absolutely. I will use.
He's the best part of both of those movies.
I will use the word absolutely right now because.
Is he fantastic?
John C. Reilly is great in everything that he does. There's just something about Step Brothers. It is way below him. At least personally, that's what I feel.
Oh, no, you gotta watch it though. It's one of the last great comedies that we've had.
Really?
Really. 100%. I will stand by that. As a straight up comedy, Step Brothers you can't get any better. You have to watch it.
I don't know.
It's raunch humor, but it works perfectly for those characters. It builds great comedy characters. I'm also definitely in the last few years become more of pick or choose with Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy's Home I could care less about.
Actually,
Elf, especially the popularity of Elf, has really left a sour taste in my mouth.
Had no interest.
It's terrible.
No.
Fight me, internet. Fight me that Elf is not terrible.
Yeah, supposedly one of the best Christmas movies ever. No.
So is Jim Carrey's Grinch.
No. For me, Christmas Story, hands down. Heck yeah.
Yes.
Yes, for me it's Christmas Story. I mean, come on, Red Ryder, BB Gun, Peter Billingsley.
Well, shoot your eye out, kid.
Yes. Fun fact: the guy that played Ralphie, right?
I think I know your fact, but
what's my fact?
Is it Iron Man?
No.
Oh.
No.
He's in the first Iron Man.
Where?
He is talking to Obadiah Stane, Jeff Bridges. He's the character that says, "Well, I'm not Tony Stark," because he's good friends with Jon Favreau. Sorry. But continue.
Well, I was going to say is that, do you remember the movie Couples Retreat?
Yes.
With Vince Vaughn?
Directed by?
By Ralphie, yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. Directed by.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, directed by him.
And Jon Favreau is in that movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so those two are buddies. Buddy. Hopefully, Ralphie makes a cameo in The Mandalorian. This Red Ryder BB gun.
Just shows up with a little red BB gun.
Shoots the Mandalorian. Oh, that's it right there. I think we probably will do a Christmas episode, so we will continue. Let's talk about A Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, we'll have to go over Christmas movies. What's good,
Absolutely.
What's not good.
I love talking about Christmas movies.
Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2. Anything past that, just stop.
3 is fun in just a kids type of way.
No, it doesn't have Macaulay Culkin. It doesn't count. Move on. I saw an interview that he did
with the Culk?
With Macaulay Culkin. He was on Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy asked him about whether there was anything that he thought was odd about the story and everything like that. He's like, considering when this movie was made, there weren't cell phones back then. Why didn't he just pick up the phone and call the cops?
There's the point in the movie. They explain it in the first one, though. The cops call the house and go to the house, and he's too scared.
Yeah.
So I also love in that interview where there's different fan theories about the movie, and his favorite one is that he turns into Jigsaw. Yeah. In my head, that's still canon for Jigsaw.
Heck yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, it
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You ever watched the video of Daniel Stern? Like, he made like a YouTube video about Home Alone 3 and like him also getting like the kid is coming back to get him and Marv.
That was a that was a response video
to Macaulay Culkin's Home Alone 3, quote unquote. Macaulay Culkin, he's making his comeback, and I like it.
Macaulay Culkin, he's an untapped. I think he's one of those ones that he was the child star that got the raw end of the deal, and I think that he definitely is underappreciated. And I would tell anybody, if they ever give the opportunity, he has a movie. It's him, Seth Green, Marilyn Manson. It's called Party Monster, about the 80s, 90s party kids, based on true story of the character he plays. I always remember James St. James, which is the character that Seth Green plays, who is the movie is based off of. But Macaulay Culkin's character ends up, the person he plays, murders one of his friends or something like that. And it is a weird, trippy, you sometimes question Macaulay Culkin's sexuality in this movie, but amazing, good, independent, low-key movie. I definitely recommend that.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
You have to be in a very accepting mind because it is not a movie for everyone, but definitely a good, solid movie.
We will continue talking about Macaulay Culkin, I think, in the near future.
Of course.
We'll definitely get to our Home Alone talk.
Well, especially if we're going to talk Christmas movies.
Absolutely. That is it for wide release movies, including Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, Widows, and
Instant Family.
Let us know in the comments of either this YouTube video or on our website which one you guys are going to go see.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interested to see what everybody says. I'm assuming Fantastic Beasts is going to be the big one for the weekend.
Oh, Fantastic Beasts will definitely be the big one, which we didn't even think about to even go over is how did we do last week? Or this is Veterans Day, so basically number one, shocker, took first place. Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
No shocker.
I'm actually kind of excited for that because since it's co-directed by Scott Mosier, who's obviously most known for being the producer behind Kevin Smith movies, maybe this is going to be the mainstream break for him.
Gives him his break to finally become a big-time director.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
I would never have pictured him as the director type, but it is also an animated movie. Overlord came in third. You know, considering the fact that you came in third and only brought in $10 million, I still think that's pretty good, solid, considering the fact that
their budget couldn't have been that much more than that either.
No, and then the girl in the spider's web took fifth, which they only took in $8 million.
First weekend, that's not good. Yeah.
No, and
it should have beat at least the Nutcracker.
Yes,
the
absolutely,
Disney
which it didn't.
No, and only $9 million. That was at least, I'm assuming, probably an $80 million movie.
Oh, well, let's see if the numbers are
if it's
available
updated yet. Yeah, but yeah, that movie.
43. Only 43.
Okay, still $9 million. It's not going to go up from there. So
no, right now worldwide it's only made 16.
Yeah, that's not looking good for any other sequels to that movie. So I think that franchise is going to be done in America, I'm assuming, after that.
Yeah, well, Overlord's not looking that great either, though. Production budget $38 million. It's only made 19 worldwide.
But I think that one will have legs on home media.
Yeah, home release I think will definitely have more legs.
Yeah, the girl in the spider webs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that can get anything after its first weekend release, but yeah, I think Overlord might have some legs.
I mean, it
appeals to an entirely different audience from The Grinch, and Bohemian Rhapsody and everything else that's in theaters right now.
The only thing that I think it's gonna run into is this upcoming week with Fantastic Beasts, with the Star-Studded Widows and Mark Wahlberg. There's 3 good, solid movies that are gonna easily. Plus, it's still competing with Bohemian Rhapsody. It's still going to be competing with The Grinch. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be, it won't break the top 5.
No, next week, no. So what do you think? We're going to make predictions right now.
Okay.
Top 5 for next week.
Well, I would say probably it's going to be Fantastic Beasts, probably The Grinch, then probably Bohemian Rhapsody. I would have to say probably Instant Family, and then Widows. Instant Family is going to pan to a much broader audience with it being more of the family comedy and stuff like that versus the crime thriller. I mean, it's got the cast, but I don't think it's going to have the pull. I mean, up until a week or so ago, I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, so I think next week, obviously, Fantastic Beasts will be number 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely, hands down.
I think The Grinch will stay in that top 5 at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I'm gonna go a little bit of an upset. I think Widows will pull in that 3rd spot just because of that cast. I've seen a lot of trailers for it. It's been ahead of a lot of movies I've seen. So.
See, and I haven't even seen a trailer for it.
Oh yeah, definitely watch the trailer.
I've been seeing trailer after trailer for Instant Family.
I haven't seen a trailer for Instant Family, so
go to Hulu.
Yeah, I don't have ads on Hulu, so that would be number 3. Then I think Bohemian Rhapsody will stay in that top 5 at that number 4 spot, and then I think that's where Instant Family will sneak into the top 5.
Okay, so I have a question for you. For that sake, if you think the Widows will overtake take over Freddie Mercury here, how much do you think it would pull in for the first weekend?
15 to 20.
Because right now, Bohemian Rhapsody just this week only took a 40% dip and has brought in 30.
30. So, next week it won't break 15.
I'm thinking like 20.
In its 3rd weekend out?
Yeah, I'm thinking you're going to get those people. It's not dipping as hard as other ones are doing because it's the one where
it's a crowd pleaser movie.
Exactly. Yeah. People are going back to go see it.
I can see that.
And it's also one of those kind of movies where I think people were not wanting to go the very first week. So I think it's one of those. Bohemian Rhapsody seems like one of those ones where people are going to go like a couple times. They're going to go later, maybe not necessarily opening weekend. So
pull in that older crowd that doesn't go in the first week. They'll go to the matinee showing a few weeks later. Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Widows will pull an upset.
I guess we'll have to see.
We'll see. So yeah, until next week for that, we'll see what the box office looks like. It'll be interesting to see. So.
We might just have to start doing this. Start making our predictions for the
every week
for the top 5, just to see who's gonna have the better value.
Yeah, do some weird bets on it or something. It'd be fun.
Even better yet, you know what we could even do here? This is something that is Fantasy Movie League. We can create a league for us here, and anybody who wants to participate. Basically, what Fantasy Movie League is, kind of like your fantasy football, except you have your movies that are coming out, or your number of movies that you have available to you for a certain amount of dollars, and you have to basically gauge what is your movie, what is your picks for you, and you can have multiple movies of the same movie, and
you get a certain amount of points to use each week.
Yep, you get $1,000, and so like for instance, one of the weeks when Halloween was out, it was $666, and I think it'd be a good way to be able to get a good competition going, seeing who's got the better eye for the.
I like it. I've been seeing that before the movies here in Sioux Falls. So yeah, I could be into a Backlot 605.
Heck yeah.
Movie League. I like it. So, with that being said, that's what's going to be coming out next week, and also what happened at the box office this week. We also want to talk about some local events that are coming up here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The first one we have coming up, less than a week away, I guess, from Cinema Falls, presenting what they call the Nordic Film Festival, the Scandinavian Falls, which I'm kind of interested. I might go out and check it out. But basically, they're bringing in a couple movies.
I know Quake is one of them.
Yeah, Quake is one of them, and the other one is called Becoming a Strid. That one is from Sweden. Quake is from Norway, so they're kind of doing an overseas type of thing. So it would be kind of interesting to see that, brought here to Sioux Falls. That one is taking place at the Orpheum Theater in downtown Sioux Falls, which I've never gone and watched a movie there before.
Yeah,
so that's the biggest thing for me, is to go watch a movie in that theater. So I don't know about you. I might go check it out. We'll see. And that one is Sunday, November 18th. That is a weekend I could possibly make it to. So
that'd be nice, especially supporting local
events like that. And it'd be something we haven't really had in Sioux Falls before, and I don't know how many movies have actually played at the Orpheum before. So it'd be kind of cool to see a movie set there, and of course support local events and independent movies here in downtown Sioux Falls, because Lord knows we need it.
Yes, definitely.
Because Sioux Falls, it could be the next city to help out with independent film and bring bigger film festivals here, and we just need to make it happen.
Yes, we do.
Go out and check out these movies. So, anything else you need to bring up on that?
Not that I know.
Yeah. So the other one we have coming up from Indie Events is Wednesday, October.
This is November.
It is November.
You're almost to Thanksgiving, my friend.
I'm traveling back in time.
November 21st on Indie Events is presenting Lesbomb.
Lesbomb?
Yes.
So what is that sort of about?
Lesbomb is a holiday movie-ish of a girl coming home to her parents to not only come home, but come out.
I like the way you put it.
Yeah, right? I mean...
Yeah, that one is brought to you by Indie Events. That one is taking place at Club David in downtown Sioux Falls. Would you call it a family comedy?
It would be a family comedy.
Okay.
I mean, come on. You got Cloris Leachman, you got Bruce Dern, you got Kevin Pollak. I mean, that's just off the top of my head.
Yeah, and it's produced by one of the Farrelly brothers.
Yep, Farrelly brothers.
Dumb and Dumber.
The gal that is starring in it is actually also writing and directing it.
Yes, Jenna Lorenzo. She'll also be doing a Q&A after.
That'd
so
be
I
awesome.
think that is the coolest thing that sometimes we get to get happen here in Sioux Falls. And talking to directors and writers. So the movie looks all right. But I'm more excited to talk about someone who made a movie. That excites me more than sometimes actually watching the movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we got going on here in Sioux Falls in the next probably week. So for that being said,
I guess one of the things that I would say too is that, for those that are listening and whatnot, if there's anything that they're working on and want to let us know, want us to plug, be more than happy to. I mean, I think for instance of like when we got Mr. Pointy that we saw here, the little short film by Werewolf, anything that's going on around here, take a peek at those and talk and discuss about those.
Absolutely. This was started as a place to talk about movies, and you know what? We want to talk about every kind of movie out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the stuff we talk about right now is the big stuff, because that's what we have access to. But we definitely want to get more into the Sioux Falls community of what they have and filmmakers here in this area, and we want to talk more about that stuff too. So yeah, if you know any filmmakers, please send them to this podcast. We'd love to talk to them and have them on our show even. So absolutely, if you guys have anything you guys want us to talk about, please just message us on Facebook, shoot us an email, Twitter, Instagram. We got everything, man. Yeah. So just find us. We'll answer it every time. So until next week, this has been Backlot 605. I'm Casey.
I'm Brian.
We'll see you next week.